Hello there. So, I have been thinking about how do you know if an expert is any good? My partner and I were talking yesterday um, about how to. Let me back up. We were talking about what is the thing that bothers you about anything really. We were watching some show, and this person had given up his whole life, basically, his life and his career, and he was being shamed by people for what he believed in, and he was basically demonstrating how this fake organization was hurting people, but he was seen as being attacked or having attacked the nation's pride that he lives in. So my partner, so Ryan asked me, what would you give up your reputation and your career for? What thing bothers you enough for that? And I don't know that I had an answer necessarily for that question, but I did say that I really dislike people in the accounting profession who do a terrible job, because it's just bad, right? It hurts people and it makes all accountants look bad. And I'm not talking about designated accountants specifically. I mean everybody who's in the accounting profession. And I think that's the same in any profession, right? You've got lawyers, for example, who, if you have a bad experience with a lawyer, then you kind of think all lawyers are bad, or you have this idea that all lawyers are bad. So that, yeah, one rotten apple ruins the bunch, I think is the saying. Anyways, so that got me thinking about and got us talking about, how do you verify a professional? So if you're going to hire an accountant or a lawyer or a doctor, or even mechanics or anybody who is an expert in something, and we need experts because we can't know everything. That's how our society kind of works, is that people specialize in things and then we all help each other. That's probably way oversimplified, but you get it. And so how do you hire somebody to help you when you can't really test their knowledge exactly? You can't, you're not an expert, so you can't ask them these detailed questions and know the answer that you're expecting. So short of that, how do you know that you're hiring somebody that's going to be good? Not only that's going to be good at what they do, but also that's going to be a good fit for you. This is not a new question that I'm posing. We learn about this kind of thing in school. It's, I think they call it an agency problem. Maybe that's not what it's called. I'm getting something mixed up, but it's that idea of I hold way more information about your situation than you do, and so I have this power. That it's an imbalance of power there, and because of the imbalance of knowledge. So how do you verify these people? And we kind of came up with two big pieces that need to get figured out. So the first piece is communication. It doesn't matter necessarily, maybe oversimplifying, it doesn't matter how good they are if they cannot communicate with you, right? So it does not, it's just like the idea of teaching. You can have the greatest roller skater in the world, but they may be really bad at teaching, and so they'll not be the best choice to teach how to roller skate. So if somebody can't communicate with you well, then they're probably not going to be good for whatever you need them to do, because you won't necessarily be able to explain what you need. They're not going to be able to explain to you what's going on, and there's going to be an issue there. That one we can usually figure out because communication is pretty subjective, and when we have our calls and we try to figure out like, can this person do what I need done, then we're usually able to figure that out. Communication is something we can sort of figure out. And the second one was process. So what is our process? And within process, we had a few that we had sort of thought of. So accuracy was one, timely was another. So a good professional or a good expert has deadlines that they meet. And well, those two for sure. There was a third one. So how do you can talk to them about timely, right? You can set deadlines and you can kind of figure that out as you go. Like, oh, well, they're not meeting my deadline, like filing deadlines, or if they've said that they're gonna do something by a certain time, but then they don't. So yeah, you can kind of figure that one out. But it's the accuracy piece that I have not figured out how to vet. So, because if you're not an expert, you don't really know if it's accurate. And I think a big thing for me in terms of hiring people is what kind of questions are they asking, and how do they talk to me when I ask them a question? Because I am not an expert, obviously, so I'm going to be asking them really simple questions, or really like less. I want to know how it works, but I don't want all the details necessarily. I just want to know what I need to know. And if they're somehow treating me as less than because I don't know as much as them, or they're answering questions but it's overly complicated, or I'm just not getting the information that I need, then that's going to be a problem for me. I guess that kind of goes back to communication, actually. But anyway, so yeah, the accuracy piece is the one I can't really figure out. The questions that they're asking makes me believe that they know what they're doing, because they're in their head, theoretically, saying, okay, here's a number of possibilities that it could be, and so I'm trying to narrow down which one it is by asking these clarifying questions, and we're going to figure out which scenario we're talking about, or which option we can, like which solution is going to work. And sometimes it's a matter of, like we have 3 solutions. Here is the outcome of 1, 2, 3. And, here's the outcome of 1, of 2, and of 3. Now you get to make the decision as to what outcome you want. I think that's a really great way to know if you have a good professional in your hands. They're not just telling you what to do, but they're really involving you in that conversation. But yeah, the accuracy piece, that's a tricky one. Until something goes horribly wrong, and until something goes wrong, then sometimes you don't know. You have no idea if it's right or not. And that's definitely something that I see regularly, because I'm obviously on the other side of that, where I'm hired as the expert. And I really want to instill or communicate to the people that I talk to that, yes, in fact, I can help them. Yes, it's going to be accurate. And here's all the information I'm going to need to be able to do the project that we're working on, or attack the problem that we're looking at. But that's, there's no real way, as far as I know. I would love to know if you know. Do you guys know if there's a way to verify the accuracy of your professionals? I mean, we thought of like calling references, but then, you're just going to get their references. So of course they're going to only give you people that love them. We thought about what about contacting prior clients or reading reviews, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, you're just getting their bias of their reviews, sort of thing. So don't really have an answer, but I do suggest and I do encourage to really question the professionals that you're going to hire. You really have to be able to trust them because they're going to do something for you that's really important and that you might not necessarily be able to understand or to know if it was done right. So have a list of really good questions. For an accountant, I would ask them, how many prior clients have they had that have a similar situation? What did they do for them? How were they able to resolve the problem? What was the outcome of that? How long did it take? And just really trying to understand the scope of their experience. Yeah, that's my recommendation, my suggestion. I would love to hear what you guys think, though. What is your way of getting to understand a professional and whether or not you're going to hire them? What questions do you ask them? I would certainly love to know. Until then, I'll see you tomorrow.